Well, folks, as the title implies, it's a great day to be woke and gay, but a bad day to be a veteran. Actually, well, it's been for yesterday, but since we do this show on the weekends, it's more appropriate, for today, since we're doing this today. So, anyhow, Joe Biden has done it again. He has put America last. Obama did something similar to this, actually. But yes, Brittany Griner, a WNBA star, has returned home to Texas. Joe Biden has given Victor Bout, who built and distributed Russian weapons of destruction to terrorists around the globe, in exchange for a black lesbian basketball player who refuses to stand for the national anthem. Says the U.S. is an evil place. While leaving Paul Whelan, a Marine, who was arrested for spying 4 years ago. Now, Paul Whelan has denied the accusations from the Kremlin that he was actually spying when he was in Russia. Brittany Griner, on the other hand, admits that she broke the law. Now, of course, 9 years in prison for a small amount of cannabis oil is ridiculous. Not even Texas or Tennessee has punishments that harsh. But naturally, this is Putin trying to get what he wants. Victor Bout would be a great asset to the Russians. Shouldn't say would be, he now is. And I find it funny, folks, how the Democrats say they stand in solidarity with Zelensky and Ukraine. And they want to get rid of assault weapons and this, that, and the other thing. But meanwhile, for their social justice movement, they give the merchant of death, Victor Bout, to Vladimir Putin. Do you think the Victor Bout's going to be like, oh no, no, I'm going to go. Let me get my voice right. I'm going to go help the Ukrainians. Hell to the no. This guy's been arming militants on the wrong side forever. And guess what, folks? He's going to be making damn sure that Russia has the upper hand on this. In fact, he's probably going to make some deals with the Taliban that has the $80 billion in weaponry that Joe Biden left behind in Afghanistan. You think? Very likely, folks. Very, very, very likely. See, Joe Biden, this is no stranger to Joe Biden. He said nobody will be left behind. Well, he's been the best president in leaving Americans behind. You can't make this stuff up, folks. I wish we could, but you can't. You see, Biden and the Democrats, and I don't even think so much Biden, I really believe that this act is not necessarily Joe Biden. If it is, that just shows he's not fit to be president, and impeachment should occur because this in no way was constitutional. And if anything, it violates the Constitution. But yet the fake news media is busy attacking Donald Trump for his comments on the Constitution. To be honest with you, I'm so sick and tired of every time I turn on the news, Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that. Look through your feed. Trump, 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 Trump. Nothing about any of this other crazy crap that's going on around the world. Nothing. Nothing at all. Biden good, Trump bad. Oh, yay. Herschel Walker's a retard. Vote for Warnock. Well, I guess they got their way with that. And we'll get to the Walker Warnock thing a little later on. But, I mean, and Randy Weingarten is, of course, all over this. You know, the woman that wanted to keep kids locked up and this, that, and the other thing. Apparently, she's actually gay. Let's see, what do we have here? Oh, yes, here we go. It's from Fox News. This is involving Randy Weingarten. Slammed for tweet highlighting Brittany Griner's race and sexuality after release. While celebrating the news, the head of the American Federation of Teachers mentioned how Griner is a gay black woman, leaving many people scratching their heads as to why that description was necessary following the news of the release of the WNBA player. The Biden administration negotiated the release of Griner from Russian prison in exchange for Russian arms dealer Victor Bout, also known as the Merchant of Death. There's only one tier higher than the Merchant of Death, folks. Anybody know what it is? Anybody? It was the Angel of Death. What was his name? It's ironic because the Democrats are always calling the Republicans Nazis, but yet they gave the Merchant of Death to possibly the closest thing to Nazis, minus the Chinese Communist Party. Oh, yeah. His name was Dr. Joseph Mengele. That was the Angel of Death. This guy's the Merchant of Death. He doesn't kill people. He just facilitates it. And I guarantee you, this is not the end of Victor Bout. It's not the last we're going to see of him. In fact, we're probably going to be seeing a lot more of him. Joe Biden might have just facilitated. Mind you, he's given away so many of our military assets to Ukraine. He's almost all but depleted our strategic petroleum reserve, which Donald Trump built up. It's meant for war. So in essence, Biden has strongly depleted and weakened our military while giving everything away to our enemies. What does he care? He's 80 years old. And he doesn't even know what the hell day it is. It's pretty sad, folks. I never thought, when Joe Biden got elected, I was like, well, it's not going to be Obama again. It sucks. It's not Trump. Hell, I was wrong. He makes Obama look like a saint. It's ridiculous. So Randy Weingarten attended a gay black woman release, blah, blah, blah. And I will note, folks, and Weingarten herself happens to be a gay woman, I will note that this just so happened on the same day that Congress passed the Marriage Equality Act, or whatever the hell they call it. I have it written down here somewhere. Formerly nicotine-stained fingers. Anyhow, it's basically whatever it is. The gist of it is, it had passed in the Senate, it passed in the House, went to Joe Biden's desk. Basically, you can't get rid of gay marriage. So again, I think this was a complete photo op and publicity stunt by the Biden administration, primarily probably cackling Commie Harris and Randy Weingarten and probably Peter Buttigieg and Oh, wait a minute. Do you notice something, folks? With the exception of Weingarten, she's a teacher. Teachers union, all you need to be is a whack job libtard female to become the head of any type of teachers union. But gay is a plus because they want drag queen shows in all their schools. But Corinne Jean-Pierre, Only got her job because she's gay, she's black, and she's a woman. The only reason that Brittany Griner got released as opposed to Paul Whelan, who I don't know, he's been in there for 4 years. And guess what? Spying to the Kremlin, spying is a much bigger and way worse offense than small amount of pot. That was probably just residual oil in a vape pen that you probably couldn't even use anymore unless you hot knifed it or something. If you want to know what hot knifing is, go consult the Trailer Park Boys. I'm not going to explain it on this program. So it seems, that's why I say it's a great day to be black and gay. And of course, being a woman just makes it a little bit better. But at the same time, there is other incidences going on around the country. Hold on, I have a call. I have to for that. Anyhow, it's pretty much a pain. It's garbage. So you had this, and there's something else I have to really look up here that I'm going to pull in. It's a segue into something else. But stand by. I really have to pull this up because I was about to forget this, and this is a big deal here, folks, that I am getting into. This has to deal with Sam Bankman-Fried. So anyhow, so they freed this black lesbian basketball player who kneels for the national anthem. I think I already went there. And Paul Whelan was ready to go home. He was shown holding up a note that why was he left behind bars when he was supposed to be part of this deal? He was ready for his plane and everything else. Now, Clay Travis, like I said earlier, had pointed out, how can you claim to... No, I didn't go on. Yeah, he did. Clay Travis pointed out, how can you claim to care about gun control when you give Putin the largest known hostile arms dealer in the world? I'm 9 out of 10 points on par with these guys on all the things they're saying. And like I said, I thought all the liberals loved Ukraine. Victor Bout sure as hell ain't going to help them. So this is really an atrocity. And as I was saying, Biden's photo op there at the White House had Kamala Harris, Crypt Keeper Joe, and the lesbian wife of Brittany Griner there at the White House on the day where they passed the Marriage Protection Act with a lesbian on the stage, bringing back her lesbian lover. I would say, and again, Clay Travis and Buck Sexton had gone on about this. They used analogies. I'm totally in agreement with these analogies. For example, if this was Brad Pitt, no, wouldn't have done it. Let's say it was a heterosexual white woman that was a Marine veteran. They would have left her. And I want to say, why the hell didn't Joe do this before the midterms? Because he would have gotten shellacked. And you know what? You're already seeing the results of this shellacking because Kirsten Sinema has decided she no longer wants a part of the damn Democrat Party. She has become an independent, and that is step one. Essentially, what this means, folks, is that the Democrats who were seated or to be seated in January, since this disappointment in Georgia, which, let's be real, Republicans didn't get out and vote enough. This disappointment in Georgia with Herschel Walker losing to Raphael Warnock by a big margin. I mean, Herschel was better off in the general than he was in the runoffs. It's sad, but you go through Atlanta and call me racist if you want. The blacks in their churches and Raphael, the Reverend Warnock, who throws piss on little kids, runs over his wife's foot, this, that, or the other thing, preaches goddamn America, goes out and doing the preaching, and they do this early voting and everything at the churches. But the Republicans want to vote on election day. And a lot of the times in Georgia, they figure it's going to be rigged anyway, but it's not. This is not a rig job. On this particular one, it's not a rig job. The runoff in 2021 with Loeffler and Perdue and Ossoff and Warnock, that may have been a rig job, but again, probably not. A lot of these people figured their elections were stolen because there were pipes busting in Cobb and Fulton County. Conveniently, pipes busting on election night in Cobb and Fulton County, and they felt their votes weren't accurately counted. So therefore, they figured, why the hell are we going to go out and vote again? Because it's going to be the same thing. However, back then, Warnock and Ossoff lost by a small enough margin to go to a runoff. And then it just so happened that on January 5th, when they had that runoff, it was the polar opposite. And Ossoff and Warnock won by that same margin. And of course, Georgia only has one runoff, and that's, and I told you I was driving through Atlanta on January the 4th of 2021, or the 3rd of 2021. Yes. No? Was it? Yeah. Yeah, it was the 3rd. And there was, outside of every church in Atlanta, long lines for Afro-American women. It was a Sunday. Voting. You didn't see any Caucasians or any of that, because these people are about their churches. And the Republicans go and vote on election day. No. It's Clay and Buck, and Hannity, everybody is saying the same thing, and I'm on board. I think it's about time that we get past that vote on election day fetish that we have and start doing the early voting, start doing the mail-in voting, because when these votes come in and you have the Democrat candidate ahead by 300, 400,000 votes once the count starts, it doesn't look too good. And usually by the end of it, they call the race, and a lot of times the Republican concedes. Now, there's exceptions for that, like Carrie Lake in Arizona. I don't believe she's conceded yet. Because if she does, the race is over. But again, we have to start playing by their rules. Now, back to the, and we still got a bunch more to get into here. Back to the Brittany Griner thing, her comments on the national anthem and resurfaced online, where she said, I honestly feel we should not play the national anthem during our season. And you know what? I can't even, I'm pretty good at voice acting. I can't really recreate her voice because it's deeper than mine. I think it would be something like, I honestly feel that we should not play the national anthem during our season, Griner told the Arizona Central in 2020. I think we should take that much of a stand. I don't mean any disrespect to our country. My dad was in Vietnam and a law officer for 30 years. I wanted to be a cop before basketball. I do have tribes in our country, but I'm going to protest regardless. I'm not going to be out there for the national anthem. If the league continues to play it, that's fine. It will be all season long, but I won't be out there. I feel like more are going to probably do the same thing, but I can only speak for myself. Well, go ahead. You know what? If I was president of the United States and you didn't come out for my national anthem, I would have brought back the Marine who put his life on the line for your freedom, you ungrateful. I'm not going to say it. And mine. That is what this country has come to, folks. Social justice over people. It's not even social justice. If it was real social justice, they would have put Paul Whelan back home, or nobody. Don't cave to the Russians. But no, we're just setting the stage for World War III when the Russians already have more nukes than we do. And then we're just giving them somebody else who knows how to give them more weapons. Real smart, Joe. Real smart. Dumbass. Impeach him. He can be impeached for this, and come January, hopefully he will. Hopefully Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin will jump on board. Maybe even Bernie. You never know which way Bernie's going to go. Remember, he's an independent. He's not a Democrat. And he's not too big of a fan of Crypt Keeper Joe. Nor is he a fan of Crooked Hillary. Anyhow, on to the other news here we got. Karine Jean-Pierre, the other person who only got her job because she was gay and black, stormed out of the briefing room on Thursday as Today News Africa reporter Simon Adeba confronted her on not taking his questions. Adeba yelled out a question about the upcoming U.S. Africa Summit, where President Joe Biden intends to meet with 50 African leaders. The White House reporter confronted her on why she wouldn't take a question about the summit. Why is it so hard to give me a question, he asked. It's not hard. Would you let me answer the question? She began before he even began talking. Press secretary attempted to call on a separate reporter. Adeba continued to ask why she will not take his question, causing Jean-Pierre to snap. I just tried and you wouldn't let me, sir, she said. So your colleague is going to ask me a question. Press secretary abruptly ended the briefing and stormed out of the room as Adeba continued asking why he cannot get a question answered. Well, it just goes to show you what this administration is. Adeba later told the Daily Caller that it is shameful that the press secretary cannot take a question about the president hosting 50 African leaders from an African reporter. I'm willing to bet this guy is a white African reporter, or a white African, just like Elon Musk. Oh, yeah, Elon. Oh, yeah. They don't like him too much anymore. They used to love him until he exposed their crap on Twitter. That's something for another day, though. We don't have the time to get into all of those roots tonight. The reporter apparently has persistently confronted both Jean-Pierre and former White House press secretary Circleback Jen Psaki for calling on a select few reporters to ask questions. During the White House senior medical advisor Dr. Fauci's last briefing on November 22nd, Adeba told Jean-Pierre that she should answer a question posed by the Daily Caller, White House correspondent Dana Glebova, about the origins of COVID. Well, the origins of COVID, it came from China, and I had nothing to do with it, just like I had nothing to do with cutting open dogs' vocal cords in Tunisia and getting them eaten to death by sand fleas. That's gain of function. It's no big deal. Yada, yada, yada. Like I say, you know how it is. Oh, here's a fun one, folks. Well, you know what? We'll close out the show with that one. We'll go now to this. And this is interesting here. I have this, my formerly nicotine-stained fingers, on this page. But before we get into this, folks, this calls for a drink. Yes, indeed, it does. Because I'm about to release the Kraken. Oh, yeah. Big league. What is Ray going to do next? What does he have to say? What does he have to say? Well, that's just as interesting to me as it is to you, folks. You're wondering. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. It does involve maybe my second or third least favorite celebrity. As any of you that are regulars on this show or my previous one that was canceled, y'all know the top of the list for most hated celebrities, and they all happen to be woke women, is Greta Thunberg. This is maybe a close second or third. Hold on to your shorts, folks. By the way, if you chase your shots with Pedialyte, it drastically reduces the risk of a hangover. It does involve Maxine Waters, I will give you that. Because Maxine Waters, you all know about the Sam Bankman-Fried thing, the FTX collapse, the guy that gave millions and millions and millions of dollars to Democrats. Get ready. Headline from the New York Post. Sam Bankman-Fried nearly sponsored Taylor Swift tour for $100 million. He is a fan of Tay-Tay. Disgraced FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried came close to clinching a $100 million deal with Taylor Swift to sponsor her upcoming concert tour, according to a report. Gee, I wonder how much they would have gotten on the tickets for that. That people are spending $20,000. Look, if someone spends $20,000 to see Taylor Swift, they need a lobotomy. I'm sorry. And by lobotomy, I mean probably just to be decapitated. Bankman-Fried's cryptocurrency exchange was in the final stage of negotiations with Swift's team about a ticketing arrangement that involved digital certificates or NFTs, according to the Financial Times. FTX reportedly wanted Swift to offer up a light degree of endorsement on social media. The singer, however, never seriously considered the FT opponent. Taylor would not and did not agree to an endorsement, a source cited by FT said. The discussion was around a potential tour sponsorship that did not happen. Probably didn't happen because the thing went bankrupt. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried, well, I'm a vegan and I live in I have orgies with a bunch of men in the Bahamas, and I made all these people spend all this money on this thing that really doesn't exist. And I'm here. It's like I'm a vegan and I'm a social justice warrior, and everything's awesome for me. The talk sparked fierce internal opposition among FTX higher-ups who thought that it was too expensive. But Bankman-Fried reportedly pressed on because he's a fan of Tay-Tay, according to an FTX employee. I guess he likes women that look like men, and that's probably because he likes men. Anyhow, that was a segue to what I had next. Maxine Waters had said, you know who Maxine? Impeachment. If you see any of these Republicans at a grocery store, at a gasoline station, at a restaurant, I want you to get out there and tell them they're not welcome, and you get in their faces. The same people that were telling us that we that we are the bad ones. We are the racist ones. She's the one saying it. Well, anyhow, this old bag goes on to say, the Fred Bankman-Fried doesn't need to be brought before Congress. I wonder why. I wonder how much money he gave her. How much of other people's money he gave her. This guy should be in prison for the rest of his life for stealing millions and millions of dollars from people. But he's not. He's not, because he gave it all to the Democrats. I think he may have given some to Mitch McConnell and Lisa Murkowski. I'd have to look that one up. Maybe if I get around to it on the next show next week, I will do that. Anyhow, for a last little bit of fun here. Here's Hunter. All right, let's see. What is Hunter Biden up to now? Daily Beast report says Hunter Biden is now the king of haiku. On Friday, Soho's Georges Berger Gallery is debuting Haiku. It's the latest solo exhibition for Hunter Biden, the artist embattling sorry, had a Joe Biden moment. The artist embattled recovering addict and second son of President Dipshit. I mean Joe. None of Biden's new works for the show, which feature colorful, flowerful, and tree-like designs, are in his previously documented medium of blown ink abstraction, Berger told the Daily Beast. They're all brushwork on canvas. In an effort to prevent ethical breaches, White House officials have put measures in place to shield information about how much Biden's work is selling for and to whom. Last October, however, the New York Post reported that 5 of Biden's original prints sold for $75,000 apiece in anticipation of an LA pop up presentation for Biden hosted by Bouger. Federal agents are reportedly currently investigating Hunter's finances and debating filing tax crime charges against him. Gee, I don't think that'll happen because his last name's Biden. You think the 80,000 IRS agents that the Democrats want to hire are actually going to go after Hunter? Because I sure as shit don't. Anyhow, the night before the LA show's opening night, Bouger called Biden to check on him, the gallerist told the Daily Beast. He said, Georges, my whole life, I feel like I've... Hold on a second, that's Hunter. Hold on a second. Georges, my whole life, I feel like I've done what I want to do with me, or what people want me to do, like bang hookers. For the first time, I'm doing what I want to do, so I have no more reasons to run away or escape. No, you have no more reasons to run away or escape because your president is your father. I guess I kind of screwed that one up. Other entries include vivid disjointed landscapes and an hymn of Clint, like a rendering of Ouroboros surrounding, like a kaleidoscopic geometric pattern, suggesting a cluttered mind searching for optimistic angles. Listen, folks, these are fingerprints. It's just because the guy's a damn Democrat and the son of the president who puts forth the woke agenda. Yeah, that's all it is. And because it's kind of Japanese looking and the thing is a haiku, does anybody know what a haiku is? I don't know why they call it haiku. Because nothing in this has anything about Biden writing Japanese poetry, Hunter Biden anyway. So I wrote a Hunter haiku up for you. Now, for those of you living in Rio Linda, as Rush always used to say, a haiku is basically a short poem with 5 syllables, then 7, then 5. So we got one for Hunter Biden, and I will count the syllables out for you. Here we go. I like smoking crack. That's 5. I like banging dirty whores. That's 7. I should be in jail. That's 5. Once again, I like smoking crack. I like banging dirty whores. I should be in jail. That is the Hunter Biden haiku, folks. Thank you for tuning into the program, and we will catch you again next week. Let's remember, let's go, Brandon. Next 46, impeach Joe. Cheers, folks, and Merry fucking Christmas to you.